Hey guys, VIII here. Today I'm going to be doing a guide and my build on the Condor Interceptor. This is a tech level 8 frigate. I'm pretty excited to try it out. I loved my Condor 2 when I had it, and this is a big upgrade from that. The Interceptor line has 3 high, 3 mid, 3 low, and 3 rig slots each, compared to the Condor 2 that only had 2 across the board. Going into the roll bonus, it has a +1 disrupt field immunity level. What that means is you can warp through bubble camps and the bubbles will not affect you, so you can warp around nullsec pretty much scot-free. Per advanced electronic warfare bonus, you will get a +3% warp disruptor and scrambler optimal range, which I'll show that off in just a minute, and a -15% warp drive signature radius penalty. Per advanced frigate command bonus, you will get a 10% small missile torpedo damage, so that that'll give you additional damage and reduce the, So, going down a little bit further, this thing has a 424 meters a second flight velocity, which is pretty quick for a frigate, and 5.5 warp speed is extremely high. It just rockets around. You can warp around just quick as day. The power grid on this thing is extremely low. It's at 39 megawatts or whatever you want to call it. So it's hard to fit everything you want on here, but my build, I got it to work, and hopefully it works for all my content I'm going to be coming up with for this. The capacitor is 524. This thing has some pretty bad capacitor problems, just draining too quickly, not being able to stay in fights very long. So I have this fit a certain way for capacitor management and tankiness, so we'll see how that works out. What I have equipped are 3 C-type small missile launchers. I have a Predator stasis webifier, a Republic Fleet warp scrambler, a Predator warp disruptor. I went all out tank on this, so I went for the C-type adaptive field there for the 36% resistances across the board, a C-type small shield booster, and of course a C-type small micro warp drive. This is a micro warp drive ship with all the signature radius bonuses. You can slot a afterburner on this and rat with it, and you can actually speed tank fairly well. I think you get up to 16 to 1800 meters a second, which isn't too bad. Now, looking at my range on my small missiles here, I have a 17-kilometer range. My Predator stasis webfire is 14.8, so I'm typically going to be kiting at about the 13-kilometer range and being able to freely hit them with my missiles. My warp scram is at 15.4 kilometers, which is perfect because it's right past my stasis webifier. And the main reason I have the Predator Warp Disruptor is this is a 33-kilometer hit range, which is just insane. I have one more level to go on my advanced. It should level up in a couple hours here, and that will go up even higher. So when you're just shooting towards somebody, you can hit them at 33 kilometers, lock them down, start orbiting them, and then hit them with the scram and web. They're pretty much screwed. Now, being an interceptor, I went with the tanky build because I will be intercepting larger ships in this. and I don't want to die before my fleet can warp in, so being able to stay and take as many hits as I can before they get there is necessary. You see my power grid is pretty much maxed out, so I couldn't put any damage on the low slots. You could swap the adaptive shield for a damage control as well. That's definitely a viable option. It gives you a little bit of resistances all around and a 12 or 13 second basic immunity. I did try a few things like the Imperial Navy tracking disruptor to basically not be hit by anything but tracking. But you're going so fast that the tracking disruptor doesn't really do much. They're already having trouble tracking you in the first place. I thought the Caldari Navy guidance disruptor for missiles was a good idea too, just in case I hit a missile boat. But this thing chews through your capacitor in just minutes. Well, couple cycles. This has a 45 gigajoule activation time, so it does fit on here, but your capacitor, it says 50 seconds, it just chews through it like none other. So I'm going to just stick with my warp disruptor and hope my speed tank and my shields can hold me up. Now rig wise, for my rigs, I slotted a 20% tier 3 flight velocity adjustment, 20%. I did a negative 40% capacitor need. I think this is pretty important because I am having capacitor problems. And then I slotted just a tier 1 semiconductor memory cell for the capacitor multiplier. It kind of negates the effect of the micro warp drive that takes off negative 25% off the top there. I do have a tier 3 in the makings, so once I get my tier 3 I will potentially slot one of those babies on there. For my other side, I have a negative 20% capacitor need adjustment on my shield booster. I spent around 30 mil on this, and these are dropping down to about 10 already, but I'm going to be taking this off for a bit more damage. I don't think the negative 20% is doing too much there. I slotted a tier 3 EM screen reinforcer on here and a anti-thermal screen reinforcer tier 3 for the 40% resistances. For this slot, make sure that's my capacitor need one, I am going to slot a tier 3 damage bonus for my missiles. I think this is going to increase my DPS where I just about want it. So let's go ahead and remove that. My capacitor did go from a minute 20 or 30 to 56 seconds there, which isn't the best. But our DPS is 195. So yeah, let's check out the skills needed. Let's see, description. Usually there's a way to pull up your skills here, but I'm just stupid. Yeah, whatever, we'll just go over them real quick. So my skills, let's just start off with the engineering. I am 5, 5, and 3 on that. That's how I'm able to fit everything I need. The next level up, potentially if you got 1 or 2 more levels, you can fit a some type of damage booster on there, but it's really limited on power grid. Electronic system, of course you want to have the advanced electronic warfare maxed out just for that signature radius. I am 4, 5, and it will be 2 in there. This has absolutely nothing to do with anything on this ship, but I'm going to just train it up a couple anyways. I know this one has a stasis web of fire capacitor need and some other nice stuff, but more importantly, advanced electronic warfare is what you need. Targeting is 5 and 4. Weapon technology, let's just check out my missiles. I'm 5.53 and 5 and 3, so it's definitely got more potential. You can get more DPS out of this thing if you get down to expert there, which I will eventually someday. Shield operation is pretty big. You are having capacitor problems, so you want to have this as high as possible, but I'm 5 and 4. And shield hardening's 4 and 3. So definitely getting this up a little bit can help your capacitor. Frigate defense, I would always recommend having this as high as possible. I have 5, 5, and 4 there. Eventually I'll go up and get the last level on that. Cruising technology, I have frigate command all the way down to 5, 5, and 3. Of course, the next level there will give you a little bit more velocity as well. Oh, they all give you velocity, so any little bit helps. Navigation, I have basically making this viable for an afterburner. I have 5, 5, and 4. In the micro warp drive, I have 5, 5, and 3. So yeah, let's undock really quick and just check this out. Okay, so I'm going to pop my shield and pop this, and I'll pop that. So if we see here, our defenses are all up in the 62 to 73%, which is fairly good. An EHP of 4700. It's pretty strong. Capacitors is 56 seconds. Our navigation, we are going 3,900 meters a second, which is extremely fast. You can just speed tank just about everything in this. Our signature radius is at 77 meters, especially with the warp drive on. That is extremely good. Just having that extra negative 15% warp drive signature radius penalty, and when that's max, that will go down even more, making this even more viable. Now you see my shield booster has been on this whole time, and my capacitor is pretty much drained. Having all three of those, the Scram, the Predator, and the Web of Fire, drains your capacitor extremely fast. So potentially pulsing this would be the better idea, and hopefully you're not taking enough damage to leave that on the whole time. So alright, let's take her out. Let's try her out in some PvP and warping through some bubbles and go from there. And just for heaven's sake, I put a C-type afterburner on with a 196% flight velocity adjustment, coupled with my 20% flight rig there. Let's just see how fast we can go. This does drain your capacitor a lot less. So we are up to 1,800 meters a second. This is definitely viable for speed tanking, in anomalies, just about anything. That is slightly slower than the Condor 2, but the Condor 2 has the flight velocity increase per level or something. I think it goes up to 22 or 2,400. But the added DPS on this, going 1,800 meters a second, is great. You just have to be really careful if you're flying around trying to PvE with your micro warp drive on, because you can get slapped in a heartbeat. If you get scrammed and webbed, which a lot of the rats do have both, you're pretty much screwed. You don't have the tank, even with this build, to survive a whole group of rats hitting you scrammed and webbed. So Just be careful. I would definitely go with the afterburner if you're trying to do PvE content. Well, the first place we're going to try this out is in a hard mission with a 1.5 million ISK reward. I'm probably not going to do the whole thing, and I probably shouldn't have warped right on top of it, but we're going to see how she performs with the micro warp drive. I have both my Predator and my Scram on me, which I'd probably swap out for something else in this scenario. So let's just go to 13 there. Oh, great. Let's actually take the Blackbird out. And use our micro warp drive. So this guidance disruptor is reducing my range to 14 kilometers. So let's just go down to 12 there. I'm just going to pulse my shield a couple times just to get full. Okay. These missiles shoot fairly slow, so this is going to take a little while. Okay, I'm not really understanding why it's not hitting. I guess we'll just have to go in at 10 and hopefully we don't get scrammed or webbed. If we get scrammed, we're pretty much dead. Well, scrammed and webbed at the same time. Okay, we are finally hitting 1769 a volley. Not bad. We're pretty much taking no damage. A lot of these ships are missile boats, it looks like. Same volley, 1769. $17.40. We're doing some pretty good damage. I think without the damage rig on there, we hit around 1500s a volley. These are fairly slow missiles, so it's activation time of 12.8 seconds. Alright, I'm probably just going to fast forward this. Once we kill the Blackbird, I will just knock off the rest of this first wave, and then we'll get into some PvP. Got one of the retrievers. Let's go ahead and fly away. He's got a large newt, which I do not want to mess with. Good job, my friend. Well, I wasn't able to take out any of them. That was a good plan on his part. Let's just head off and sulk in embarrassment. But you see how quickly I was able to intercept that retriever. Pretty darn quick. If he didn't have a large newt on him, I might have been able to kill him. I could have stayed there and tried to tank, but one more hit from that newt would have probably just zapped my battery and potentially would have killed me. Or that Can-U would have warped in that was at the gate and slapped me a new one. Well, I thought this conversation was funny. Bunch of people have my baby. It's my god. I want to start a VIII based religion and take it too far and turn into a cult that the government has to shut down. I want to make a VIII scented shampoo and wash my pets with it. Have a goldfish, dude. It would smell like sweaty ass. These guys are funny. Looks like I found a cruiser wreck. Let's see if there's anything in it. Quite a bit of loot. Wonder what that cruiser was doing. Wow. Love finding free money on the ground. 3 mil pop on those. Free 10, 11 mil. I will take it. Well, I was able to intercept this guy pretty quickly. Looks like he's just AFK at the gate. Doesn't look like he's targeting me. Now he's targeting me. Hopefully he doesn't newt me before I die. One more volley and that should be it. Got a Condor 2 here. Keep him webbed to do my damage. Okay, I also have a assault breacher here. Popped his damage control. Don't know why my orbit's all funky. And I got them all. Let's go ahead and loot up all of our kills there. We're able to take a retriever, a condor, and a assault breacher. Pretty good. Take it all. Not sure if that assault breacher had torpedoes or not, but he might have put up a good fight otherwise. Alright. Let's check out. Oh, it was a hound, not an assault breacher. That's why he didn't do much damage. 169 mil from the retriever. Not too bad. The hound, 79 mil. He was not running with a web. That's what I'd probably recommend if you're rolling in a fleet. Those torpedoes can't hit anything moving fast, especially frigates. And for our Condor 2, he was in a pretty budget build, just a single disruptor. He did have a web of fire, but couldn't get within range because I have a Predator. And yeah, pretty budget. But alright, pretty good kills. Let's see. Well, overall, that's going to do it for this video. I spent a couple hours just flying around finding people to fight, and that was literally all I was able to find. The anomalies are getting pretty sparse with people in it. I'm not sure if they're just doing encounters or what. But this is a extremely cool frigate. It isn't a endgame frigate though. pretty sure any faction level frigates can take this out. I'm not sure if I'd attack any Navy issues. If they get a web or scram on you, I think they could take you out pretty easily. These things are still pretty squishy, even with how I have it built. With that fight with the Condor, you see it got me down to just about armor, and my capacitor was getting fairly low. One thing I want to show you guys, my electronic warfare skill got trained, so now I'm at 34.5 kilometers on the warp disruptor, which is huge. But yeah, it's definitely a pretty cool ship. I'm going to fly this in a fleet and actually try to intercept some people for a fleet. That'll probably be in an upcoming video. But yeah, a few other options for fittings. Remember, you can swap the adaptive field for a damage control. You can swap the disruptor for another web. Even like a target painter might be nice for your crew, but you want to intercept somebody and survive long enough for them to get to you. They're definitely not going to be as fast as you are, but if you can tank just long enough for them to get to you, they can get their scrams, their disruptors on, and you can disengage, either go heal up or just kind of go to safety, or just continuously plow the guy into the ground. If you guys have any different builds, feel free to comment it down below. I'm sure other people would be interested in this. Rig wise, of course, there's a lot of different ways you can build this. You can go all out damage. You can swap the capacitor multiplier for something, but I would 100% recommend the negative 40% capacitor need adjustment. This thing does just eat capacitor for like it's candy, pretty much. But alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.